I'd like to call the Waterworks and Lighting Commission meeting to order. And first order of business, I think, is to welcome our new commission member, Mr. Fangman. And would you care to make any comments of introduction to the group at all?
Well, I've spoken to, not quite everybody in this room, but almost everyone in this room.
Okay.
Short version of my story is I grew up in Iowa, moved to Illinois for college, lived there for 40 years, met a girl on the tollway, married her. We'll talk about that later. Had a house in Menasha for 6 years as a vacation home. Decided I liked Wisconsin. Searched for 7 months to find a house in the community I thought was where we needed to be, and moved here. My background is in information technology, and I have overseen $100 million projects. In warehousing mostly was where my specialty was. Involved not only in the information technology sector, but in construction.
Good old man.
It'll all be fine.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So welcome.
Thank you.
And our next order of business, I think, is to consider when we wish to meet in July.
But do we wanna approve the previous
Well,
meeting minutes?
okay, we'll get to that. But we've had this issue of the holiday and the timing, and I think the folks that have to prepare for this meeting would like to see us have a different date. Is that correct, Jeff?
It's your decision. Either way, it's just gonna be probably not getting the packet until Monday or Tuesday prior to the meeting, if we keep it on. I think that's the 8th, that it would be.
Right.
So if you wanna move it a week, then you'd have ample time to review information prior to the meeting.
Okay.
In any way gonna crunch you, or, it's a holiday, people need time off, so is that gonna put any pressure on you guys if we keep it on the same date, or would it be better to move it?
It's your decision. Like I said, normally we get the packet out to you like the Thursday prior to the meeting, so you've got the weekend and a little more time to review the information. If it's kept on the date as presented on the calendar, you're probably not gonna get the information, the packet, till Monday or maybe even Tuesday.
So I think in the interest of preparing for the meeting, it would be well if we move it. Anyone object to that? So we'll hold it the following Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Yes, I will not be able to be here, so you'll want to make sure you have quorum.
Okay. How about others?
I've got no problem.
I should be able to make it?
I should be here.
Okay,
Okay,
so we'll have
good.
a quorum. All right, be it resolved that we will meet 1 week late in the month of July only at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Pardon?
Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right, minutes for the meeting held in May. We've had time to review those. Any additions, corrections, or amendments? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes as written and place on file.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, department updates. Safety. Any questions on the safety report? If there are none, we can move to the line superintendent's report.
So that call in for Quetco, did we cover that or was that a mistake again?
It was a
Okay, all right.
So we had a little blink on the west side, anything significant?
Last weekend,
Yeah,
they didn't find anything at all.
I thought we talked about the tree by
Oh,
the
the tree on
service on
14th.
14th Street. Yeah, yeah, I saw that too.
We had a spike. Not a loss of power, but a spike also. I got up in the morning and all the clocks were,
Needs to be
Blinking.
reset.
yeah.
What was
I
that?
don't remember what day
Yeah.
that was. But I looked on, I looked on to see if there was any outage or anything.
Yeah, I mean, we know of another recloser that operated on Washington Street. But, yeah, I guess I'm not even familiar with where you're at, Rick, so.
so there's nothing significant that caused it.
No, I mean, it was odd because that was Saturday night at about 10 to 11 PM, and I was up, and we had the windows open, and all at once I heard a huge gust of wind, and it was about a second later that we saw that blink, and then we actually had another tree go on the line further up by the Plover area, and so our lineman came in for that outage, and then he drove the line just to see if he found anything, and he found a
A
tree.
service, yeah.
Yeah, a service, and on the recloser, it said it was an A to B fault, so probably a branch that went across the two phases and then fell back off, so, yep.
Are the property owners responsible for trimming the trees, or does the city do that?
By the high voltage lines, we do.
Okay?
Generally, to a service line, we do not. Generally. We'll take the wire down, and they can hire a tree service. If it's a branch or two, then we can get in there with a truck, then we'll take them off. As a rule, we don't.
Okay.
But we do have 2 units operating full-time.
Davies Cruise, yeah.
Yeah, to keep the limbs back far enough to prevent high-frequency limb and tree failures.
Do we patrol for that, or do we just wait for someone to call it in?
It's done on a priority basis, right?
The Davies stuff is on a regular schedule, and then we have a trouble truck that runs every day for day-to-day trouble.
So any other questions or comments for Josh? Hearing none. Move to the water department report.
That's about the most significant move I've seen on the water table.
Yeah, so,
That's not an error?
no, second lowest, or
Yeah.
it's the most water we've had, second of all time.
Our rain is accumulating, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
We had 7.8 inches last month.
Does the DNR communicate with you about their intentions on what they're going to do with the dams on the river?
No, actually, a lot of the dams are controlled by another company, up in Wausau, Wisconsin Valley Improvement Company, and so they monitor a lot of the flows and everything else. They might report to the DNR, but if we wanna check water levels, water temp levels, you can actually go to their website and monitor that.
So that, the clear well inspection, have you gotten a report on that, or is everything fine, or?
Everything's fine, they're working on a report. We're gonna replace 2 of the ladder rungs that go down into one of our older well chambers. They're starting to corrode a little bit, so those will be replaced this winter, and we'll take it down for service at that time. But otherwise, all the concrete, no structural issues whatsoever.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Adam? If not, could we move to the customer support supervisor's report? Any questions for Lynn?
Just a note for Kevin, did you see the number of disconnections?
Yes.
Isn't that surprising?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not
You're not.
in this area.
Okay.
I saw
That was
that.
one of the surprises that I had, is the high level of disconnects that are encountered. And then reconnects.
So it looks like our collections are in reasonable shape at this point, huh?
Yes, they are.
Good. Okay. Any other questions for Lynn? Good to see the publication.
Yeah. Nice picture of Alex.
Yes, it is.
Right. And, communication on our performance, that's good. Move to the Director of Finance report.
Positive cash flow is a good thing.
It is a good thing, and I think that June should be a decent month. I mean, the power bill's still a little bit lower from May, so we're not hitting the higher months of power supply costs, so we should be all right in June also.
So do you anticipate any big changes in what we're going to see in terms of financial reports?
I guess it's kind of up to the commission. I did give you a sample of the one. I apologize that it did not get included in the packet. But there's a sheet of paper you have there. This is just one example, and I guess my goal is to try to keep it a summary level so you can read it easily and it doesn't go 3 pages for every income statement and balance sheet. But if you're more comfortable with more detail, we can talk about that and go through there. So I don't need feedback today. We've got time to work through this, but if there's things you'd like to see, please just let me know and we'll get those things included.
So what's the timing on the new?
We have to be off our current system by the end of the year, so we've got time to do it. But this is up and running now, so we can make the change. We can make the change now if we wanted to. It's just making sure you get the information that you want to see.
So what of the detail that we currently see are you anticipating changing?
The one question would be, if you're more comfortable, do you want to see, like in this example here, we've got current period this year to current period last year, and then year-to-date current year last year, versus having the budget and then 3 years of current year. Do you like seeing 1 month of financial information, or do you just worry more about the year-to-date information? And we can rebuild these exact same financial statements if we're comfortable with those, and that's what we want to see. There's just a little more flexibility with what's available with the new program, so we can break down that month by month and see that information. I did try to run a report, trailing 13-month income statement, so you can see 13 months, but the numbers are getting pretty small on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, so it's just finding the balance of, the information you may want to see.
I do like to see the 3-year trend information.
And we can have multiple, we can have a sheet like this and more of a high-level one, and then a detail by month or something like that too. So I'll work on some different scenarios, and we can talk about those in a couple months.
All right.
I do like the 3-year trend, but I do like to see the month comparison, because then we can see impacts on certain activities that are gonna be fresh in everybody's heads as to how did that impact the utility, if there's festivals or weather or whatever it happens to be, so, that might be both, actually, could be helpful.
Okay, thank you.
And you would continue your charting
We can continue the charting, yes.
Because that gives a good perspective at a glance of Travis's work. Any particular questions for Jeff? Beyond what we've discussed? Not? Can we move to the information systems report?
So when events happen, you find out what works and what doesn't in terms of cellular service?
When certain services go down, so like our Wi-Fi went down, then we figure out how bad the cellular service is right here at the building, so. Otherwise, you can do what's called Wi-Fi
Right,
calling.
yeah.
So.
Right. I wasn't aware that AT&T had that better coverage, but.
I wasn't either, otherwise we might have jumped sooner.
Do you use anything like Wi-Fi Man or something like that to test the cellular signals in the area?
We do have a booster that does something similar. It helped us find the best spot to place it, but it really wasn't much better. Because it doesn't actually boost, it just kind of repeats the signal. So whatever strength it sees, it just repeats that into the building. It doesn't actually boost the signal.
Any other questions for Matt? So key counts, conservation manager,
I sent that video to my city representative, so as an example, it's very nice, very nice.
any questions for Sean?
So you don't ride BMX anymore?
Been a lot of years.
Okay, if there are no further questions for Sean, electrical engineers report?
What's a trip saver unit?
It's essentially like a V-closer, but it's for single phase. Can open and close if it sees a fault, and then on the last one, it'll pop open. And you can visibly see that it's open on the pole. And, it's just, it's a lot easier to see them instead of a V-closer.
So they figure if it's 5 times, it doesn't fail in 5 times, then chances are it's not gonna fail then.
Yeah, that's what the sales rep told me. He said if I test it 5 times, it opens and closes, and it sounds like it's working when it's doing that, then he said it should be fine. The other one said they sounded like they were crunching or something like that when they were closing, so.
Well, 5 is just down because it's not needed, or is there trouble there?
It's out of service right now. We're going through a study to see if it's gonna be valued to keep cleaning it at the pace we're cleaning it, and is it justified for the cost to the ratepayers to do that. So right now, we just have it out of service till we figure out the study and determine if that's gonna be to move forward and close it up, or keep cleaning it the way it's going.
And that's the straw, right?
Yep, that's the vertical well. The rest of them are all the collector rainy wells.
But you're doing well without it.
Yes.
Summertime capacity demand, you don't expect a problem?
No, we'll push 3 million gallons a day in the summer, August. The plant can handle 5.4 million if we went to 3 shifts, so we don't have a demand issue.
don't think we'll ever need to replace the meter that you relocated then.
I'm gonna put the well one meter replacement on the 2025 capital budget, and push it out to them, and then we'll replace it and move the other meter back to well five.
Okay. So you would keep it as a backup?
Yes.
Any other questions for Tyler? Director of Engineering report?
69 was the maximum gust. I didn't see that.
That's what I read in the paper, actually.
Guarantee you the day that we had that horizontal rain, it was higher than that. Absolutely guaranteed.
Took out a number of trees. Most of them didn't cause any problem here, but,
Yeah,
a number of-
fortunately, one took out, you know, the peach sod, which that was our big problem that night, but, yeah.
I'm sure the ground is so soft with all the rain.
Well, that's the problem, you know, we had the same problem in 2019 where we had so much rain that the trees get uprooted much easier, and so that's a concern.
So what are you doing about that?
Crossing my fingers.
Come on, you don't have a big ground dryer, you can just.
Yeah.
Well, and that article I sent you on the Wall Street
Yeah,
Journal,
that
I didn't
Pam-
read that second part, it was talking about magic balls.
So, and what was the magic ball?
So it was an article about getting more capacity out of the network, and they put these magic balls on the lines that somehow tells them the conditions. In other words, if whatever the safety factor is, assuming it's 90 degrees, but it's actually 70 degrees,
Mhm.
then the line can handle
Yep.
more.
Yeah.
So increasing capacity based on the actual line conditions? I've never heard that.
So what we've got here that we've been using more and more of lately, and I think Josh and I would both agree that's a real nice item, is you clamp it onto the line, it learns how much current typically the line has for load, and then when it sees an overcurrent, it starts flashing. And so if you have a three-phase line that splits two directions, that's a good place to put them. So then the line crew comes in and they can follow the, flashing lights down the line to the problem if they don't exactly know where the problem is. So, you'll see them all over our lines now, and they're fairly affordable. I can't remember exactly what they cost, but
They're under $200.
yeah, so it's a really nice piece of equipment. You don't have to program it, nothing. It just knows itself how to figure out line load and then, give you a flashing light if it has a problem.
Then it resets itself after 24 hours.
Yeah, yep.
And those are called what?
Fault detector.
Fault detectors, huh? Yeah.
Not magic balls.
Not magic balls, but I can see the magic ball doing almost the identical thing, but now it's gonna Bluetooth you or somehow Wi-Fi, somehow
Yeah.
get you information that way, so, yeah. But, yeah, interesting.
So congratulations again on your gold category safety achievement.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that today, and then it's laying on my desk right now, I forgot to, but, very happy to get the gold award, which is the highest award again, and it'll go into the trophy cabinet, so.
We did have an injury, right? And what's the status of that individual?
He came back to work 2 weeks ago. I think it was about 4 weeks ahead of schedule, his recovery and stuff, Ben, so it's doing well.
Okay.
Yep.
And no residuals?
No, he says he's doing good, so,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
We had a presentation from ERCO last week at Rotary, and they had gone, were you there, Jeff?
Mhm.
Had gone, what, 2 years or something like that, without a lost workday injury? Somebody tripped on a door, door threshold, broke a wrist. 2 years.
Yeah. tragedy in its own light, right? So, general manager is not here to answer questions. Jim is not feeling well today and had a doctor's appointment, so he was unable to join us. Any questions on, I assume Todd or Jeff could handle them?
Anything further on this pushback on the renewable issue?
With Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a presentation really, and Jeff and I both watched it, and they're really modeling battery storage, and everybody is concerned, all the utilities that make a flue are concerned of this new technology as far as the portfolio ACES presented should have had a better mix. It shouldn't have all been battery storage.
Oh.
So that's kind of really what that was about.
And I think they're meeting again in June to kind of look at the model again and
Yeah.
the changes that they wanted.
It sounded like Jim had actually challenged that concept.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, every general manager had their concerns about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw that the library has taken out their installation. Send it back. Oops.
Okay, if there are no more questions related to Jim's report, a review of the accounts payable.
Oh, I saw
If
something,
you
I'm not sure.
review
what-
this, you can see the charges for the tree trimming.
I did see that.
There was something on here, that I'm not seeing it here, what page it's on, but it was a credit from Adams Columbia.
So we actually had two this month, where we had one for Adams Columbia and then one to, I think it was Alliant, where customers moved up our lines, but either had EA credit or another credit that they want transferred to their account. So if they receive EA money and they transfer service to another utility, that money will follow them
Okay.
to help pay for their utility bills. It's pretty rare when that happens.
What was the engineering support for, Todd?
I think Strand is for Adam.
Yeah, they're doing the unidirectional flushing right now, so all the engineering support, I think there's two spots on here that they, have payments for, is related to the UDF, which is one of our capital projects for flushing the entire water system out this fall.
Okay. And that's not something you're able to accomplish?
No. They'll probably, they've been spending time since January till it'll probably be July when the report's actually done. And we'll receive the plan, and our guys will go out there and start isolating the valves and flushing the hydrants. What it does is it actually will isolate, say, 8 blocks at a time, so we can take and blow the water through the main, it'll scour the main at 8 blocks rather than doing every single intersection in town, so it speeds up the process. Right now, we have almost 1,200 hydrants in town, so it's a lot of flushing if we do every single intersection. And this is one of the DNR's recommendations on our last sanitary survey, was to perform a UDF.
So when you do that, do you rotate where you do the flushings at so that over time all the hydrants get flushed?
So it runs through a process where you'll flush this section, and the next section, you'll move on to the next section, and it'll just go through the entire city that way. The purpose of it is never to let the dirty water flow back into the clean water, you just kind of progressively work it out the system.
That reminded me of another question that I had for you, Adam, on your report. CIP lead replacement plan, what's the CIP stand for?
Capital improvement plan.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions on accounts payable?
charge in the credit cards for consumer confidence report, is that coming out shortly?
That's already out.
It's available on the website, and if you want a paper
So-
copy.
Yeah, it's on the website and there's a
Okay.
paper copy at the lobby,
Okay,
at the library, and then at the Commerce Center.
okay, thank you.
I see a notice from We Energies, which is outside the agenda, that makes our increases pale.
So there's some big numbers, I saw that same
Yeah.
message, so.
How big?
11%, 9.5%, depending whether you're talking about gas or electrical.
I think there was 2-year increases too, I was
Right,
talking about.
yes.
Like substantial increases for 25 and 26, so. big numbers.
Which I thought was ironic, particularly for gas, because gas has
Pretty
been
cheap right now.
spot gas prices are like absolute minimum.
Mhm.
If there is nothing else, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I shall entertain that.
Is that a
I will
motion?
make a motion, yes.
Thank you.
To that effect,
And a
yes.
second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.